Most people will never break their bad habits because deep down, they don't actually hate them. They say they do. They complain. They vent. They go around telling people, yeah, man, I really need to stop this. But when it's late at night and no one's watching, they do it again. That's the reality. They love the comfort it gives them. They love the dopamine, the escape, the feeling of surrendering responsibility. Because when you surrender, you don't have to take ownership. You don't have to fix anything. You can just exist, and that's the biggest disease in society. People existing instead of living. Bad habits are like parasites. They latch onto your routine, your identity, your mindset. They disguise themselves as relief, as pleasure, as deserved breaks. But all they're doing is robbing your future in slow motion. Every single time you give in to that impulse to scroll, to binge, to procrastinate, to drink, to smoke, to watch garbage, you are trading your potential for a cheap high. That's it. It's not complicated. It's a trade, and you make it over and over and over while your dreams bleed out in silence. The problem is, people look at breaking habits like it's this mystical journey. I need to work on myself. No, you don't need to work on yourself. You need to kill the part of you that keeps losing. You need to wake up and realize that no one is coming to fix your laziness. No one is going to grab your phone and throw it across the room. No one is going to drag you out of bed and throw you in the gym. You are your own hero or your own executioner, no one else. So you either rise or you rot. Do you know why bad habits win? Because people try to fight them with feelings. I don't feel like it today. I'm not in the mood. Feelings are for the weak. Your emotions have lied to you more times than any enemy ever has. How many times did your feelings say, just one more time, and it turned into 10? How many times did your feelings say, you'll start tomorrow? And tomorrow never came. Your feelings are not loyal to your future. They are loyal to your cravings, and cravings are the death of kings. You need to realize something. Your habits are not just actions. They are reflections of your identity. That's the brutal truth. You can't call yourself disciplined and keep making excuses. You can't call yourself hungry and keep hitting snooze. You can't say you want success while living like a loser. Your habits expose who you are when no one's watching. And if that version of you is weak, you better declare war on him. Because that version is keeping you broke, soft, confused, and stuck. Here's what no one tells you. Bad habits are not eliminated. They are replaced. You can't just delete a bad behavior and leave empty space. Nature hates a vacuum. You stop watching trash. Good. What are you replacing it with? You stop overeating. Great. What are you fueling your body with now? You stop wasting hours on your phone. Excellent. What are you building in that time? If you don't fill the space with something stronger, the old habit returns with a vengeance. People keep asking, how do I stop doing this? But that's the wrong question. The real question is, what will I do instead that aligns with the man I want to become? That's how you win, not by cutting. By replacing, you replace weakness with action, you replace comfort with challenge, you replace mindless consumption with aggressive creation. That's the formula, and it's not optional. Either you do it, or you stay stuck in the loop like everyone else. Comfort is the most dangerous drug on earth. It doesn't hit you all at once. It seeps in quietly. It convinces you that tomorrow is guaranteed. It whispers that you've done enough today, that 5 minutes won't hurt. That one bite, one sip, one video won't make a difference, but it does, because those tiny slips are how your discipline dies. Death by 1,000 tiny cuts, and by the time you realize it, you're lost in a life you never wanted, wondering how it got this bad. Let's be honest. The reason people don't change is because their bad habits feel good. That's the trap. That quick rush of dopamine gives them an escape from reality. The scrolling numbs their brain. The food numbs the stress. The porn numbs the loneliness. The alcohol numbs the truth. But none of that solves anything. All it does is bury the problem deeper. You don't need numbness. You need clarity. You need pain. You need to feel the weight of your wasted time, because until that pain outweighs the pleasure, nothing changes. You want to break the cycle. Good. Start by being brutally honest. Write down every habit that's holding you back. Don't sugarcoat it. Don't downplay it. Face it. Then ask yourself, if I do this every day for the next year, what does my life look like? And then ask, if I do the opposite every day for the next year, where could I be? That's the gap. That's the difference between regret and reward, and it's your choice. Most people treat habits like pets. They feed them, play with them, give them attention, and then cry when those habits turn into monsters that eat their future. Your bad habits aren't your friends, they're not harmless, they're not quirky personality traits. They're enemies, and the only way to win is to kill them completely. No half measures, no moderation. You don't cut back on what's destroying your life, you eliminate it, and don't expect support. When you start rising, when you start cutting out the garbage, people will mock you. They'll tell you you're obsessed, that you've changed, that you're being extreme. Of course you are. Greatness is extreme. Discipline is uncommon. You think champions live like average people. You think world class performers scroll social media 6 hours a day. You think millionaires watch shows. No, they're too busy winning. You don't rise by fitting in. You rise by breaking the mold, and that means breaking every bad habit that ties you to mediocrity. People will try to pull you back down because your discipline exposes their weakness. Your progress makes them uncomfortable. Let them talk. Let them watch. You're not here to be liked. You're here to build, to dominate, to rise so far beyond your old self that even your former friends wouldn't recognize you. Every urge you conquer makes you stronger. Every temptation you resist sharpens your mind. Every time you choose growth over comfort, you're carving a new path in your brain. You're reprogramming yourself to win. That's neuroplasticity. That's rewiring your operating system. It's not magic, it's consistency. The same way you built bad habits through repetition, you build power through repetition. Don't wait for motivation. That's another trap. Motivation is weak, it's emotional. It dies when you're tired, bored, or stressed. What you need is standard. What you need is non-negotiable rules, systems, routines. You wake up at the same time every day because that's who you are. You hit the gym even when it rains because that's your code. You do the work whether you feel like it or not because that's what separates you from the masses. That's the difference between the elite and the average. The average person only acts when it's convenient. The elite act regardless. They show up every day, not because they're superhuman, but because they've burned the bridge back to weakness. There is no plan B. There is no maybe later. There's only now, only forward, only domination. So if you're serious about getting rid of your bad habits, stop treating them like accidents. Start treating them like enemies. Wage war on your addictions, starve your distractions, replace every weak impulse with a powerful ritual, stack your wins, track your actions, build momentum. And never, ever stop until you've buried the old version of you so deep he can never claw his way back out. You want to destroy your bad habits, then stop giving them cute names. Stop treating them like personality quirks. Stop acting like they're just small flaws you can live with. That's the lie you've been telling yourself for years. That these habits aren't a big deal, that they're manageable, that you've got time to fix them later. No, you don't. These habits are termites eating away at the foundation of your life, and you're busy rearranging furniture, pretending everything's fine. One day it all collapses. That's how it works. Quiet destruction, slow failure, death in disguise. People fail to kill their bad habits because they're addicted to comfort. That's the drug that keeps them weak. Comfort is the sedative that keeps lions asleep in a cage. They say they want to be better, stronger, richer, but they don't want to feel uncomfortable to get there. They say they want to quit the habit, but they don't want to suffer through the withdrawal. They want a painless transformation. That's fantasy. There's no version of growth that doesn't involve pain. You either choose the pain of discipline now or the pain of regret later, but make no mistake. Pain is coming. You don't avoid it. You only choose which one you're willing to live with, and don't you dare call yourself a victim. Don't pretend you're powerless. That's the most dangerous excuse in the world. The idea that you can't help it, that you're wired this way, that it's just who I am. No. That's weak language for weak people. Every time you say you can't, you're reinforcing the identity of someone who won't. You're building walls around your cage and locking yourself inside. You want to escape. Change the language first. Replace I can't with I don't. Replace I'm trying with I will. You speak like a winner before you ever become one, because your words shape your behavior and your behavior shapes your destiny. You know what people really fear? They don't fear failure. They fear responsibility, because if you admit that your habits are your choice, then you have to admit that your situation is your fault. And most people can't handle that kind of truth. They'd rather point fingers, blame stress, blame their childhood, blame the world, but none of that matters. The moment you take full ownership, the game changes, because now you're in control. And if you're in control, you can build something unstoppable. The key is identity. Most people are stuck in a cycle because they haven't upgraded their identity. They keep trying to change their behavior while still seeing themselves as the same person. You can't act like a warrior if you still see yourself as a coward. You can't build discipline if you still think of yourself as someone who's lazy. You can't conquer bad habits while calling them your comfort zone. It doesn't work that way. You have to become someone new. You have to see yourself as the kind of person who doesn't tolerate weakness, doesn't indulge in excuses, doesn't need dopamine to survive. And you prove that identity to yourself every single day through action. That's the secret action over everything. You don't feel like doing it. Good. Do it anyway. You feel the urge to quit. Even better. Keep going. That's how winners are built. Not through motivation, not through hype, but through ruthless execution when every part of your mind screams to stop. That moment, when you're tempted, when you're tired, when you're emotional, that moment is the battlefield. That's where warriors are made or destroyed. You win that moment, you win the day, you win enough days, you win the war. Let's talk about temptation. People act like temptation is some mystical force they can't resist. It's not. Temptation is just a test, a signal that your environment is too weak or your standards are too low. You keep falling into the same habit. Look at your setup. What triggers it? Where does it start? Who's around? What time of day? What mood are you in? Study your habits like a sniper studies his target. Break it down, reverse, engineer it, eliminate the entry point, replace it with something stronger. That's how you win. By outsmarting your weakness, not just trying to overpower it. Your environment matters. You can't live in a junkyard and expect to smell like roses. If you surround yourself with people who are lazy, undisciplined, addicted to comfort, you will absorb their habits whether you realize it or not. Energy is contagious. Mediocrity spreads like a virus. You want to level up, upgrade your circle. Surround yourself with people who live with intensity, who operate with discipline, who look at bad habits like poison. Because when you live in a room full of killers, being average is unacceptable. And don't waste your energy explaining your transformation. You don't need to defend your discipline to people who celebrate weakness. Let them call you obsessive. Let them say you've changed. That's the point. You're supposed to change. You're supposed to outgrow people, outgrow habits, outgrow patterns that kept you small. Evolution is not comfortable. It's brutal, it's lonely, it's war, but it's necessary because on the other side of that battle is a version of you that doesn't need to fight the same demons every day, a version that's free. So what's the strategy? It's simple but not easy. Structure your life like a machine. Wake up early, eliminate distractions, move your body every day, eat like someone who respects their body, use time like a weapon, plan your days. Track your progress, set brutal rules for yourself. Not because you hate yourself, but because you love your potential. You love the man or woman you're becoming so much, you're willing to suffer to meet them. That's how you get rid of bad habits, not through moderation but through obsession, not through wishing but through building a code of conduct that's unbreakable. You need stakes. If you don't have something to lose, you won't fight hard. Put money on the line, make a public commitment. Challenge yourself in ways that make quitting painful. The brain avoids pain more than it seeks pleasure. Use that to your advantage. Create consequences for failure that hurt. That sting, that remind you that weakness has a price. Because when the cost of your bad habit becomes greater than the payoff, you'll finally stop worshiping it. And here's the final truth. No one is coming. No mentor, no savior, no life coach, no magic program. It's you, just you, in your room with your thoughts, facing your own darkness. That's where the battle happens. That's where your future is decided. In the silent moments when no one's watching, when the phone's in your hand and you want to escape, when the fridge is calling your name, when your bed feels too comfortable, that's where champions are built. Not in public, in private, not with applause, but with discipline no one sees. You don't need more information. You already know what to do. You just don't do it because the current version of you is too soft. Too emotional, too addicted to comfort. You want to change, kill that version, kill him every morning, kill him with action, kill him with consistency, kill him with the choices you make every hour, because the old you is always waiting. Always ready to come back, and if you let him in even once, he'll drag you back to hell with a smile. This is your shot, right now, this moment, to make a decision that you will never again live beneath your potential, that you will never again allow a habit to steal your destiny, that you will burn the bridge back to weakness and stand in the fire until only strength remains. That's the choice, not someday, not when it feels right. Now, and if you can do that, if you can silence the voice that wants to stay comfortable, ignore the excuses that want to pull you down, defy the urges that have owned you for years, then you become dangerous. Then you become unstoppable. Then you become the kind of person who doesn't just get rid of bad habits, but replaces them with elite ones. Habits that multiply your income. Habits that protect your peace. Habits that build legacy. Habits that make people stop and ask, how the hell did he do that? And you'll smile, because you'll know the answer. You killed the old you, and you built the new one from scratch, with blood, sweat, and discipline. You were not born to live in cycles. You are not made to repeat the same day, the same mistake, the same weakness over and over again like a broken record. You were created to rise, to evolve, to dominate, but that future doesn't belong to the version of you still chained to old habits. That future belongs to the version of you that's willing to suffer now, so he never has to suffer again. You have two options. Keep living as a slave to your urges, or become a master of your mind. Keep giving in to weakness, or build the discipline to kill it on sight. Keep making excuses, or become so ruthless with yourself that mediocrity doesn't survive in your presence. That's the line. That's the separation between average and elite, between regret and greatness, between the life you're settling for and the life you should be living. No one can walk that path for you. No one can fight your battles. No one can kill your bad habits but you. So stop waiting. Stop overthinking. Stop pretending. Pick up your sword, your discipline, and go to war every day, every hour, every second, until your old life is just a memory and your new life, it's a reality so powerful, it silences every excuse, every doubt, and every voice that ever told you it couldn't be done. You don't need a miracle. You don't need a sign. You need to decide. Decide that you're done being average, done being weak, done being anyone less than who you were born to be. Burn the excuses, bury the habits. Become the savage who never bows to weakness again, because in the end it's simple. Kill your bad habits, or they'll kill you, your mind, your time, your future. Choose wisely and never look back.